And we are now live.
Okay, hello everybody. Commissioners are here and our director. I'm Kathy James, the chair for the Personnel Commission, and this is our regular meeting of Tuesday, November 17th. We are in open session currently, and because of COVID, we've been authorized by the governor's emergency executive order that was issued in March to conduct our meetings via video conference. And it will be streamed through the UUSD's live YouTube channel. Members of the public who wish to address the commission during the meeting are asked to please use the public comment form prior to the start of the meeting. That's my black lab grandson. The form can be accessed on the Personnel Commission website at the Ukiah Unified School District website. At this time, I'd like to do roll call.
Roll call of commission members. Kathy James, chair.
Here.
Susan, chair.
Here.
And Martha Giacomini.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Marty, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I will. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which
for which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
all. Great, thank you. I love the flag. All right. At this time, commissioners, I need approval of today's agenda, please. I need a motion and a second.
I'd like to make.
Go ahead, Martha.
I'd like to make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve today's agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Number 5 on our agenda is our organization updates, and this is 3 to 5 minutes per person. This is an opportunity for the Personnel Commission, District Admin, CSEA reps to make a brief announcement or report on his or her own activities or ask a question. Did we have any forms come in?
We did not.
Okay, commissioners, is there anything you would like to?
No, I
Say?
don't. I don't have anything.
Okay, Susan? Susan?
I just unmuted. I've been volunteering, getting declarations from voters in Georgia who face voter suppression. And some of the stories have been amazing. So I would all encourage us in the name of democracy to use your vote. Georgia, is starting over because they have 2 Senate runoff elections in January. So it's as though the election's starting all over again. But it was very troubling to see how much work people had to go through in order to vote. In California, we're in much better shape. But anyway, that's what I've been up to. I'm doing it for a lot of time through January, but it's very satisfying work.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. All right, and the noise you're hearing right now, I apologize. I'm babysitting a black lab right now, and he wants to play ball, but I'm not playing with him, so it's not me making those funny noises. Number 6 is our community input, and this is where members of the audience are welcome to come to us to talk about items that are not on today's agenda. Do we have any of those forms?
We did not receive any community comments.
Okay. And by the way, is our president of the CSEA, is she online with us here, or Nicole?
Nicole, the assistant superintendent of HR, is present, and the president of CSEA is not present.
Okay. All right.
And Lori Flee, our personnel specialist, is present.
Okay. All right. Hi, ladies. Today's consent agenda. Commissioners, I need a motion And a second to approve the consent agenda for today's agenda. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I move to approve today's consent agenda.
Okay, and a second, please.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve today's consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Number 8 on our agenda are reports. And at this time, I'd like to ask Nicole Gensler, our Human Resources Assistant Superintendent, if she has a report.
I do. I have somewhat breaking news that Deb Cuban just sent out. That we are, as you may have heard, we had a plan for reopening schools. It was a tiered plan starting December 7th with our TK through first grade, and then our SDC students returning to school on December 7th, and then a middle school and other grades after the break, and then high school after the term ends, which I think is January. I think it's January 18th. At any rate, due to our change in the tier that we are in as a county, Deb Cuban has sent out an announcement postponing reopening on December 7th. We don't have a date for when that first step in reopening would happen, but it is postponed for right now. So that's somewhat breaking news. I won't take a lot of time. I would just say there is a load of work going into trying to figure out how to reopen, when to reopen, what program to follow, what schedule to follow. Any of you that may have tuned into the board meeting probably heard, I think, approximately 30 public speakers. And we heard a wide range of opinions on the plan, on opening too soon, on not opening soon enough. So there's a lot going. Kathy James called in as a speaker as well. So there's just a lot going on at the district level, and I'm sorry, in Ukiah Unified, not just the district level, definitely at the site level. And we're just trying to navigate through this very strange time.
Nicole, well, I'm sorry, commissioners, do you have anything you want to ask Nicole?
No, go ahead.
So considering that the district was going to implement a tiered reopening, does that mean that at some point, let's just say after the Christmas break, the district decides to reopen, then will it be in the tiered type presentation, or will it just, or you probably don't even know that, or is it for sure going to be a tiered?
I don't think that there's anything for sure, as the rules of this game keep changing.
Okay, I get it. So that was just kind of a way to start it, maybe. Yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you.
I do have
any other comments?
Yeah, I just have a quick question for Nicole or anyone else who might know the answer to this. I've been finding, not so much the last few weeks, but through the fall up until about a month ago, there were several large parties taking place in my neighborhood with live music and cars parked up and down the block. And it made me crazy, because this was, 6 months into the pandemic, and people were gatherings, which I'm not an epidemiologist, but I feel pretty certain those large gatherings greatly contributed to the numbers rising of positive cases. And I wonder if the school district, in whatever you're sending out to parents, could just post a little reminder.
We are.
Especially since Thanksgiving's coming up, because it's so unnecessary, and it's just infuriating that people are being that irresponsible.
So Deb Cuban has sent in her messages to parents, has on more than one occasion reminded people to please take safeguards and to please limit their interactions, and all of the above.
Okay, thank you. I know there's only so much you can do,
right?
And we can't monitor people's every move, but I didn't know who I could call. I called the Ukiah police and I asked, can you make a friendly visit to the household, knock on the door and just say, would you please break up your party? and they wouldn't do it. And I
Mhm.
just kept seeing these parties going on for, almost every weekend for about a 6-week period. So, all right, I appreciate whatever you folks can do. Thank you, Nicole.
Okay, Martha?
I just think it's so unfortunate for all of the students in the district. It's almost like a roller coaster ride, and you're getting so close, and then there we are again. So I guess it's just what happens, but it's just an unfortunate situation to not be able to have it work. And yeah.
Okay, yeah, and as I spoke the other night, and I won't repeat it all, but kids are really suffering.
Right.
And, okay, so at this point, our director for the Personnel Commission, Marty, would you like to make a report?
I would. I would like to again congratulate Martha on being reappointed as a classified employee representative to the Personnel Commission. The board took formal action on that at the last board meeting. And so again, Martha, congratulations and thank you again for your service. We are in the midst of updating maintenance and operation job descriptions based on the last job study. We're trying to get the last batch to the board if at all possible in December, otherwise it'll be January. But everybody, as Nicole pointed out, has just been slammed with meeting after meeting after meeting in one form or another, trying to figure out a way to get students back in the classroom as quickly and as safe as possible. And earlier today, Nicole and I participated in a virtual job fair posted by Workforce Alliance. So that was kind of interesting. I think that was our first virtual job fair. So that was a new experience. And tomorrow we begin our LifeScan training. So we can start actually doing the fingerprints submissions for our applicants. So we're really kind of excited about that.
That's great. Questions or comments, commissioners?
No. Thank you, Marty.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on now to our mostly action items.
Can I just go back for a minute? I just see something that I wanted to ask about.
Yes, Martha, please.
In our folder, there's the classified personnel actions and then the positions, the request for positions limited term.
Yes.
And those were all the ones that it says funding LLM Coronavirus Relief Fund. So were these positions that you were intending for when the school was going to be opening?
Yes, I think yes, those are to help with the reopening. Is we're trying to provide childcare for staff is the primary thing there, and I don't know if there are custodial limited terms there as well.
Right, there is. Yeah, there's utility custodian district-wide, 4 different positions, and I was curious. I know there's one utility custodian, but you've created 3 others.
Right.
For cleaning.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure that we have adequate, not adequate, more than adequate level of cleaning. So that's what we're trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw that and I thought these must be new positions. Thank you.
I would think those are going to be hard to fill. So I wish you a lot of luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, Martha, congratulations. I'm glad you're going to stay on with us.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, 9.1 is an item that we've discussed now, and it's being brought back basically for us to approve. So if there's any discussion, I'll take it at this time, and then a motion and a second to approve. And this is a revision to Personnel Commission Rule 401 as it's being presented.
Right, we've gone over this before. I think we were all pretty much in
Yes.
agreement with the change.
Mhm. Yeah, so this is the second reading and we can approve it if everybody's happy with it. So I
Okay.
need a motion and a second.
I'd like to make a motion to approve PC Rule 401, definition of terms / classified service.
Okay,
Second.
okay, I have a motion and a second to adopting the revision to PC Rule 401. All in
Right.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. 9.2 is also a second reading of PC Rule 403.13, printing and distribution of rules. If there's discussion, I'll take it at this time, and then a motion and a second.
Well, I think the only thing that changed was the electronically transmitted. That was added to the language.
Excuse me.
Correct.
Yeah. Looks that way, And as a reminder, little by little, Marty's been going through all our various rules, trying to bring them up to date or concurrent, or in addition to that, to bringing them so that they are a match for
Mhm.
contracts and or having our legal go over them, so they're up to date
Okay, yes.
and modern. So I need a motion and a second if you all are done discussing it.
Okay. I'll make, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Martha.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the recommended revision to PC Rule 403.13 as presented.
I second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve Personnel Commission Rule 403.13, printing and distribution of rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. 9.3 is the same as the other two. It's a proposed revision to Personnel Commission Rule 405.10, employees working out of classification. I'll take discussion at this time and a motion and a second, if that's appropriate.
I have no questions or comments.
Right. Yeah, I'm okay with the language.
Okay, a motion, please.
Well, I move to approve the recommended revisions of PC Rule 405.10, employees working out of classification.
I second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve Personnel Commission Rule 405.10, employees working out of classification. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 9.4 is the first time being brought to us, and it's a discussion item proposing a revision to the Personnel Commission Rule 408.6-1. It's a posting of announcements of vacancies. Also 408.8, conduct of examinations, and 408.11, retention and availability of examination records, review and protests. And those we all have in our packet. Any discussion?
I'm struck by the fact that with each of these rules, the ed code is pretty meaty. And the PC rule is pretty slim. And I guess that's because as we discussed earlier, any PC rule should be connected to the ed code. So I guess there's no need to repeat all the minutia that's in the ed code. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Mhm.
However, if there is something that makes it clear or that is of value, then I strongly encourage you to add it to the regulation. If it helps, again, make it more clear.
Okay.
And then we have the CSEA contract also that has this
Mhm.
information.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we ever just in each PC rule reflect? Oh, I see. It does have the ed code in parentheses.
hmm
So any reader can just go back to the ed code to research it.
And research it, right.
Right. Okay.
And then I have a question about the 15 days. Is there still any, there used to be problems where people would somehow not see the posting. I'm just wondering if you get any calls that, they weren't aware that the position was open, or is it working better, I guess?
It does happen. I
Yeah.
think by sending them out electronically and posting them at the sites. Unfortunately, with distance learning, it makes it even more complicated. However,
Right.
I personally, and I don't know, maybe Lori has different information, but I have not seen a substantial increase
Oh, that's
in the
good.
number of employees saying, hey, I didn't see this. So I think that most people are getting the information. And it's just ongoing recruitment. It does require the 15 days, but again, because we have para positions and custodial positions and bus driver positions and a majority of our positions that are open or vacancies to fill on a continuous basis, that 15 days it's kind of irrelevant. Unless it's for a specific site or a specific number of hours. But we try to make every effort to contact our employees, and especially if they're working in the classification, to say, or a classification below it, to say, we just want to make sure that you've seen this job posting. If you're interested, please let us know ASAP.
Right, because that's an opportunity for them and you don't want them to miss
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. Okay,
Right.
that's good to hear. Thank you.
So
Okay.
to address council's concern that she said it could be a problem if an applicant is accepted during the 15-day period, but you would never do that. What would you? You have to wait until the 15 days have expired to
So
hire?
currently the postings are for 2 weeks. And we allow additional time to make sure that all of those applications, internal in-house applications, and applications that are posted on EdJoin and Indeed have been received, and we have evaluated them for their eligibility and then ranked them appropriately, and then try to get that interview scheduled
Sorry.
shortly thereafter. So that 15-day period is in fact being met.
Okay. So there's no hiring done in less than 15 days.
No, except in the case where we have multiple positions of the same number of hours that have been flown for numerous vacancies or weeks,
Oh,
because it's an ongoing hiring
oh,
process.
I see what you're saying. Right.
Right.
Okay.
That would
Thank
be the only exception that.
Okay, so is that it for this particular agenda item? Shall we have
Taking it
Marty
back
bring
to
it back?
next month. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it says first reading.
okay.
Can I ask a question about it, Marty?
Yes.
Because there's just a lot of language here.
Yes.
As you've looked at it, you've spent more time looking at it. I know that one of the challenges that we have is it takes a long time to get positions filled. And I know that this 15 days is very clearly identified in ed code here. Do you see the change in language making any significant change to our current practices, or just clarifying what the practice is?
I don't, however, I would like the opportunity to look at it a little bit closer, just to make sure that we're not inadvertently approving unforeseen consequences by that language. However, because it is ed code and ed code supersedes our PC rules, we
Mhm.
really don't have a way around it. So I want to make sure that we're in compliance.
Right.
And so again, you know, I've talked to council, and I will clarify with council again, just to make sure that I'm understanding them correctly. But when we have ongoing positions that we are filling, that 15 days, it doesn't really apply. But when you're talking about a position such as the district attendance specialist that isn't on ongoing, then you definitely need to wait that 15 days and make sure every applicant has had at least 15 days to submit an application or make their interest or intent known.
Mhm.
So we are very careful about those types of positions. Not so much the ongoing vacancies, like I said, custodian, bus driver, paraprofessional, but anything, or, you know, food service specialist, anything that's outside of those that we are constantly recruiting for, then we definitely wait that 15 days. But we also take that time to make sure that we're scheduling interviews as close to that 15 days as possible, so that we don't get back to that where it takes 2 months to fill a position.
Thank you.
Typical flyers go out for 5 days. They go out and they close in 5 days, but we still have time that they can be filled after that 5 days is closed.
I believe that they're like 10 days, but yeah,
Well, I don't think it includes the weekends, possibly.
right.
It does not include the weekends. It's their business days, correct?
2 days.
I believe so.
It says 15 business days.
Business
So,
days.
Right,
So that's 3
right.
weeks, working weeks.
right.
Yes.
So for instance, today, a transportation department utility bus delivery driver job posting came out November 17th.
Mhm.
It says it closes Monday, the 30th, but again, we accept we don't do the eligibility and elimination process until that 15-day or 3 weeks from the date that it's posted. So the soonest that we would be able to schedule interviews would be, 16 business days after that November 17th deadline, because this isn't a position that we have a lot of. It is kind of unique. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So how was that sent out then? I'm just curious. How,
So it gets
Did
sent
you-
out via UUSD email all,
All?
and
okay,
all,
all,
all.
wow.
So that includes our substitutes
Okay.
and
Yes.
our contracted employees. And if it's a hard to fill position, then I take the time to pull a list of our employees that I think may be interested, or it may be an opportunity for growth, and I send it to their home email as well as their work email, unless they've requested that I remove them from that list.
Fantastic. That's good to
Just
hear.
because I want
Yeah,
to make sure that everyone, sees it.
right. Has that up? Yes.
Especially right now, since we're not all at an office or a site or a.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on this matter? All right, I'm going to move on to number 10. Open items. This is where public comment there could become public comment regarding our closed session. Do we have any forms?
We do not.
Okay, so at this time, the Personnel Commission will go into closed session.